This week with some of the acts performing at Blado at the weekend. I'm joined right now by Nicky from Manic Street Preachers. How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you, sir.
The new album, Futurology's out today. It's not that long since the last album, Rewind the Film. Very different records, but is there a relationship between the two?
Yeah, they were recorded, I'd say 80% recorded at the same time, and quickly realised that something like Sullen Welsh Heart just didn't fit with Europa geht dich nicht, so there was like a demarcation halfway through where we thought, rather than having this immense triple album, we should do two very different albums, and in tone, and lyrically, musically, everything. So the connection is that it's the kind of two sides of the Manics, I guess, the delicate, intimate, and Futurology is much more about motion and ideas and optimism, I think.
Do you think, for the hardcore Manic Street Preachers fans who've grown up with the band, this is more of a Manics album than Rewind the Film?
Yeah, I think that Rewind the Film is something we're really proud of, and we've kind of really pushed ourselves because it was uncomfortable for us to do, really, to be that quiet and that intimate. It's not really in our nature to be that delicate, as you know from seeing us live. It's still a kind of full-on energetic rock show. So yeah, I think Futurology fits much more what your classic Manic fan would want. And perhaps we've definitely pushed ourselves in terms of the Kraftwerk and Neu influences as well. So it's kind of retro-futurist.
Talking to you many times before about it, I know Tea in the Park's a pretty special festival for you guys.
It is, yeah. I think it is for a lot of people because it's so good. And I think the first time we played might have been, it's probably a different site then, wasn't it? 20 years ago since we first did it. We did the tent. We did it as a three-piece because Richey was in hospital, if I remember rightly. I think we were on Below Blur. I think we were.
Yeah.
And it was. I remember it really well. And it was hot, it was sweaty, and we were kind of full of mad energy. And then when we headlined was in 99 maybe? That was just one of the greatest gigs ever. I think I ended up giving Sean's drum kit away to the audience, and then I realised Sean was staring at me with that kind of, I'm going to stab you with my drumstick.
1994, your first Tea in the Park. It was the first Tea in the Park. Who'd have thought then that you'd be back playing the 21st Tea in the Park?
That's pretty special, actually, And last time we did it, I think maybe 5-6 years ago, we did the tent around Send Away the Tigers, and that was a stunner. Oh, and we did it after that as well. Yeah, we did it 2-3 years ago. So what can I say? I think you ask any band, and no one will have a bad word to say of it. It's all down to the crowd. You can have the greatest bands in the world, but when you get a crowd like you get for that, it's like a gigantic version of Barrowlands. I couldn't say any better than that.
Do you really sense that when you're on stage, though? Because, often if you're doing a pile of these festivals, it's like going from one to the other day after day.
Every time we've played it, we've sensed that it's something different. There's just a kind of abandonment within the music that you feed off the crowd. That, of course, you get some festivals, there's loads of good ones around the world, but there is something particular to Tea, I think. That's why bands queue up to do it, I guess.
I suppose there's an element of risk playing too many new songs to a festival crowd, especially when the album's only just come out. How are you going to approach that?
Well, I think we've always been pretty careful not to kind of bore an audience with an entire new record, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, we'll be doing, 3, maybe 4 new tracks, but there's a lot of people there who want to hear Motorcycle Emptiness and Design and Your Love Alone, and it's not wherever, so Motown Junk, even going back to the earliest of days. So it's kind of, we like to think of it as a troll through history and, a nod to the future as well.
Nicky, brilliant to speak to you as always.
It's a pleasure, sir.
The new album, Futurology's out now. Sounds fantastic, and we'll see you at Tea in the Park.
Thanks, and good luck with the station and everything.